Es el mayor hipócrita que yo haya visto jamás. A mí me decía que no me quería dar la oportunidad porque era el chico pequeño, y ahora el chico pequeño es él, que está buscando la misma oportunidad que yo estaba buscando. Bueno, en primer lugar agradecerle a Charles, la verdad, por haber aceptado el reto, ¿no? Algo que Islam no hizo, и tiene que pagar el precio por Islam.
Это как бы делает его известным.
Ну, если все молчали бы, такого интереса, наверное, и не было бы. Ну, сам в жизни я встречался с ним, сидел, мы кушали и разговаривали. Порядочный парень, достойный парень.
Ilia Topuria is not holding back as launched a scathing attack on Islam Makhachev, calling him a hypocrite for leaving the lightweight division without facing him. Topuria warned that now Charles Oliveira has to pay the price for what Islam didn't do, and he's ready to make a statement. Dana White recently confirmed that Islam is moving up on his Instagram Live.
Current lightweight champion Islam Makhachev is going to move up to the welterweight division to face Jack Della Maddalena. What do we all love about Islam? If he had moved up to fight Bilal, he was a 5-1 favorite. Moving up to fight Jack, the odds makers have this fight at even. This guy is a beast. Islam is the best.
Ilia Topuria called out Islam Makhachev for being a hypocrite. He pointed out that Islam once said he wanted to give opportunities to smaller fighters like Ilia. But now that Ilia is asking for the same opportunity, Islam is moving up in weight and not returning the favor. Ilia said it's unfair for Islam to criticize him while doing the exact same thing, and he called it the biggest example of hypocrisy he's ever seen.
Es el mayor hipócrita que yo haya visto jamás. A mí me decía que no me quería dar la oportunidad porque era el chico pequeño, y ahora el chico pequeño es él, que está buscando la misma oportunidad que yo estaba buscando. Entonces es como criticabas una decisión, una acción mía cuando tú estás ahora mismo haciendo lo mismo. Es como no he visto más hipocresía en mi vida, pero...
Islam Makhachev's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, revealed why Islam didn't fight Ilia Topuria, explaining that Islam had no issue taking the fight, but there was nothing to gain from it. He said if Islam went out and finished Ilia, who was nearly a 4-1 underdog, people would still dismiss the win by saying Islam just beat another featherweight, like when he defeated Alexander Volkanovski twice. Despite acknowledging Topuria's skill and respecting him as a fighter, Ali emphasized that the risk-reward didn't make sense for Islam, as critics would.
If he had to fight Ilia, no problem, he would have fought Ilia. But when Islam go out there and finish Ilia, he was almost 4-1 underdog favorite, right? People are gonna say, and Ilia is a very skilled fighter. I'm not taking anything away from him. I respect him as a fighter. But you know, if Islam go there, starch him or beat him, right? That people are gonna say he beat a 45-pounder. He beat Alexander Volkanovski 2 times. He beat a 45-pounder. You understand? He have nothing to gain. It's a great big, but he had to.
Ilia Topuria responded to Ali Abdelaziz, saying Ali should be thanking him instead. Ilia claimed that Islam still has value and credibility only because he didn't fight and beat him. He said their matchup was the fight everyone wanted, and he was fully prepared for it. According to Ilia, he did everything possible to make the fight happen, but Islam's team avoided it from the start and never truly accepted the challenge.
Su manager, Ilia Topuria, en una entrevista ha dicho las siguientes palabras, y es que tendrías que darle las gracias a Islam Makhachev por haber dejado el cinturón vacante.
A mí me tendría que dar las gracias a Ali por no haberle metido una paliza a su estrella, y que el día de hoy que todavía tenga un valor y que tenga algo de credibilidad es gracias a mí. Era la pelea que todo el mundo quería ver, yo estaba dispuesto a hacerla, me había preparado, había puesto encima de la mesa todo lo que estaba en mis manos, y se escaparon, y desde un principio nunca en ningún segundo aceptaron el combate.
Moreover, Ali Abdelaziz also revealed that a fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria was fully agreed upon and ready to happen if Belal Muhammad had won his fight. He stated that all negotiations were finalized and the bout was essentially locked in, saying it was not even a conversation.
If Belal would have won, Islam and Ilia was a done deal. It was negotiated, everything was good to go. It was not even a conversation.
Ilia Topuria also responded to this claim from Ali Abdelaziz that everything was signed and only Belal Muhammad needed to win for the fight with Islam Makhachev to happen. Topuria called it a complete lie and said it wasn't true at all. He added that Ali is just trying to clean up the mess his client left behind and insisted they were never honest about accepting the fight.
Volviendo un poco al tema de Ali, declaraciones suyas, no sé qué reacción tuviste cuando leíste que todo estaba firmado en realidad y solo hacía falta que Belal ganara para que vuestra pelea se produciera.
Mienten, son mentirosos. Eso es una pura mentira, eso no es la realidad. Pero al mismo tiempo le entiendo porque es su trabajo. Su trabajo es limpiar las mierdas que sus clientes dejan, ¿no?
Islam Makhachev also fired back at Ilia Topuria's recent trash talk by highlighting the stark contrast between their careers. Makhachev pointed out that he had already cleaned out the top contenders in the lightweight division before moving up in weight, whereas Topuria, in his view, avoided key featherweight challengers with solid win streaks. Makhachev dismissed Topuria's relevance at lightweight, referring to him as someone who hasn't earned his place in the division and is better known for his bravado than his accomplishments. He suggested that if Topuria truly wants a fight, he should first prove himself with a meaningful win at 155 pounds. Islam Makhachev tweeted, "Difference between me and you is that I cleaned the top list in my division, moved to next, but you ran away from two contenders who had consecutive 5 to 9 wins in the featherweight division. You are nobody in the lightweight division, just a big mouth from Spain with a nice haircut. Go get one W and we can talk boy." Ilia Topuria didn't hold back in his response to Islam Makhachev's comments. He drew a sharp line between their mindsets, saying the key difference is that he stands his ground and backs up his words with action while accusing Makhachev of being all talk and no follow-through. Topuria labeled Makhachev a coward for vacating his title and avoiding their fight, claiming that Islam ran away without a trace. He dismissed Makhachev as nothing more than a scared boy trying to act tough. Ilia Topuria stated, "The difference between you and me is that I am a man and you are a coward. I speak and fight. You talk and hide. Run away far, leaving no trace. You are a little boy." Ilia Topuria reacted to the idea of moving up in weight to chase Islam Makhachev by saying there's no point in going after someone who keeps running. He explained that if Makhachev doesn't want the fight, then it's better to let him go. Topuria added that he has no interest in fighting someone who isn't willing to face him.
Ilia, ¿tienes pensado subir a peso welter a perseguir a Islam para que deje de huir como comentabas?
Pero ¿para qué perseguirlo? Digo, si alguien huye, tampoco hay que hacerle bullying. Si huye, hay que dejarlo escapar. Yo tampoco quiero pelear con gente que no quiere pelear conmigo.
However, Ilia Topuria also didn't rule out the chance of his move to the welterweight division. He said he's open to the idea if the fans want it and if the right champion is holding the belt. For Topuria, it's about both entertaining the audience and feeling motivated by a real challenge. He made it clear he's not closing the door on 170, but emphasized that any potential opponent must also be truly willing and ready to fight, not just talk. Ilia Topuria stated, "Of course, why not? It depends. If the fans want to see me fight at welterweight and there's a champion the company has at the moment, why not? I fight to entertain people. Obviously, I also have to be motivated by the challenge, so I'm not closing the door. If the opportunity arises and there's an exciting fight, I'll be there. What I hope is that the other party is also willing. Not willing to make excuses, but to back up what they're saying." Ilia Topuria further says that Charles Oliveira has to pay the price for Islam after stepping in for the fight Makhachev didn't take. While Topuria thanked Charles for accepting the challenge and expressed respect for him, he made it clear that he still intends to handle business. Topuria added that although Oliveira holds the record for most submissions in UFC history, he'll choose whatever path to victory causes the least pain, out of personal respect for Charles.
Bueno, en primer lugar agradecerle a Charles, la verdad, por haber aceptado el reto, ¿no? Algo que Islam no hizo y tiene que pagar el precio por Islam. La verdad, me da mucha pena por Charles, pero bueno, al final del día es mi trabajo.
Charles Oliveira tiene el mayor número de sumisiones en la UFC. Dijiste que querías someter a Makhachev, no sé si quieres doblar la apuesta con Oliveira y someterlo.
No sé, con Oliveira la verdad que lo que sea menos doloroso para él, eso es lo que haré porque me cae muy bien.
Ilia Topuria also weighed in on the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, claiming that Makhachev is mentally broken ahead of his move to welterweight. Topuria questioned Islam's decision to leave the lightweight division, suggesting it was motivated by fear rather than challenge. He compared the situation to himself hypothetically abandoning featherweight, while top contenders like Max Holloway remained, saying that's not how true champions operate.
Para terminar, Ilia, me gustaría que me dieras una predicción de Islam Makhachev contra Jack Della Maddalena.
Yo creo que Islam ahora mismo, es que no lo sé, ahora está en un momento que mentalmente yo creo que está roto, porque no creo que te venga de forma positiva el hecho de que sabes en tu interior que has abandonado una división por miedo, porque no hay ninguna otra explicación. Tú imagínate que yo hubiera abandonado peso pluma, teniendo a un Max Holloway todavía que vencer en el peso, o a un contendiente que realmente se mereciera que estuviera barriendo a toda la división y que todo el mundo estuviera chillando su nombre. ¿Por qué te diría eso de mí? Bueno, pues no sé cómo le va a afectar a nivel mental eso en peso welter, pero no lo sé, la verdad. Ya que haga con su vida lo que quiera.
Gracias.
Meanwhile, Khamzat Chimaev, who is set to fight DDP at UFC 319, doesn't see much point in debating who Islam Makhachev should have fought. He feels it doesn't matter what he personally wants, since he's not just a fan sitting back and watching every fight. However, he believes the matchup between Islam and Topuria is clearly the one generating the most buzz. Khamzat acknowledged that it's the fight fans are calling for, and even admitted he'd tune in to watch as a fan. In his view, both fighters are top-tier competitors who deserve to face each other, and he sees it as a major event if it happens.
Все говорят про его бой с Исламом Макхачевым. Ты как думаешь, хочешь ли ты этот бой, или может, чтобы он, может, с Арманом даже подрался лучше?
Я хотеть мне, не хотеть мне, какая
Ну, как
разница.
зритель.
Зритель, я особо так, как раньше, там, сверхъестественно сидеть, смотреть все бои.
Да.
Конечно, Ислама бой, Топури бой, это самые одних их, которых сейчас разговаривают, хотят фанаты этот бой. Наверное, я посмотрел, как фанат, был бы классно. Хороший бой получился, был бы хорошие бойцы, хорошие и достойные друг друга.
Ну, громкий бой был бы, как будто.
Да, конечно.
Khamzat Chimaev reflected on his time training with Ilia Topuria at the All-Stars gym before Topuria's rise to fame. He said that even back then, Topuria was already a top-level fighter in Brave FC, just like himself. Khamzat noted that it was clear from the start that Ilia was a hard worker with big ambitions, and now he's accomplished everything there is to achieve in the sport.
Очень известный сейчас боец. Ты с ним вроде как давно знаком. Он тренировался в Альстаре вместе, вот до еще его всей известности. Когда вот тренировки ты его видел, ты видел этот потенциал будущий?
Ну, конечно, просто тогда, в то время, этот был он хорошим топовым бойцом в Брейве, и как и я, мы оба там выступали. Видно было, потому что он такой пахарь и хочет добиться чего-то в своей жизни. И парень добился всех высот, которые можно было в этом спорте добиться.
Khamzat Chimaev responded to criticism about Ilia Topuria's trash talk by saying that the sport would be boring if everyone stayed quiet. He added that he spent time with Topuria outside the cage, talking, eating, and training together, and in real life, Ilia is a respectful and decent person.
Ну, а как себе, вот многие как-то чуть недолюбливают из-за высказывания, ну, а другие понимают, что это как бы он промотит свой бой, это как бы делает его известным.
Ну, если все молчали бы, такого интереса, наверное, и не было бы. Ну, сам в жизни я встречался с ним, сидел, мы кушали и разговаривали. Порядочный парень, достойный парень.
Meanwhile, Demetrius Johnson, an MMA guru, talked about the outcome of the fight if Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria had fought against each other. Both picked Islam Makhachev to win that fight against Ilia Topuria. MMA guru predicted a second-round TKO, with Islam wearing Ilia down through takedowns and clinch strikes. Demetrius thought a later round submission was possible. They also talked about UFC 317 and agreed that Ilia could pressure and outwork Charles Oliveira, possibly winning with a body shot.
Right, so who you got? Ilia Topuria, Islam.
I've got Makhachev.
Makhachev, okay.
Yep.
I got Makhachev as well.
And I've got Makhachev second round TKO with a knee in the
Oh,
knee.
damn, you going bad rounds too.
Yeah,
huh?
I think he'll shoot a couple takedowns. Ilya will stuff it. Ilya will catch him a few times and people will go ooh and ah.
Yeah.
And then when they clash again, I think Makhachev will go grab him. Yep. Ilya will think, oh, he's shooting again.
Yep.
Tie clinch, bang, bang, body, knee to the head. Ilya's all of a sudden stumbled. Downhill from there.
Okay,
that's what I think.
Okay, I'm not a guru because I don't know what he's doing. If he wins it, I don't know. I think if he wins it, it's going to be either later rounds, maybe by the Dars.
I think he beats Oliveira with a body shot though.
Ooh,
Ilia.
Yeah, I think Ilia will he'll out-bully.
Yeah, he
Charles
could back up Oliveira.
I think he'll back up Oliveira once he feels his power.
Gilbert Burns also shared his thoughts on Islam Makhachev moving up to welterweight and immediately getting a title shot. He believes it's a great fight and supports Islam's decision, noting that Makhachev has been vocal about wanting to compete at 170 pounds. Burns pointed out that Islam is a big guy who had to cut a lot of weight to make 155 and said welterweight is likely the right division for him moving forward.
What did you think about the Islam vacating the belt and going up and immediately getting a shot at the welterweight bout. And what do you think about that? And how different is that fight going to play out than what we saw versus Bilal?
That's going to be a great fight. Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's big. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam.
Gilbert Burns also commented on the confusion surrounding Islam Makhachev's decision to vacate the lightweight title. He mentioned that Islam initially said he wasn't vacating, but later did, which may have been part of the negotiation process. Despite the uncertainty, Burns supports the move, saying Islam has proven himself is currently the #1 pound-for-pound fighter and deserves the opportunity. He added that the upcoming fight with Jack Della Maddalena will be closer than people expect.
He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know. I think he was a little okay. If you're going up, we gotta. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. And yeah, I like him moving up. I proving himself. He's #1 pound-for-pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think.
Gilbert Burns noted that Jack Della Maddalena is doing serious preparation, working with coaches like Craig Jones, who was part of the team that exposed some of Islam Makhachev's weaknesses in the first Volkanovski fight. Burns believes they'll have valuable insight and strategies going into this matchup. While he hasn't fully broken down the fight yet, he emphasized that it's much closer than most people think, and that JDM has a real chance of beating Islam.
Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of crack the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating Islam, you know?
So this is all we have from today's video, and Ilia Topuria has made it clear that he feels betrayed, disrespected, and fed up as Islam Makhachev didn't fight him. By leaving the lightweight division before facing its biggest rising threat, Topuria says Islam exposed himself as a hypocrite and a coward. Islam also fired back on Twitter, calling Ilia a big mouth with a nice haircut who hasn't earned a shot. So their banter has only increased anticipation for this fight, but unfortunately, it won't be happening, at least for now.